This is the miracle mind. Who would have known? So all seeming, occurrences that seem to be like, yeah, normal, obvious. Yes, we meet each other. Hi, how are you doing? Hi, hi, hi. Is no, not at all. That's not what is occurring. Like, wow, this is a reunion, entering, meeting each other in a whole new place, meeting each other in a whole new world. It's like whatever happened before. Wow, can't believe it. Look at it. We're actually meeting again in this brand new moment together. So beautiful, so great. And such an opportunity to deepen our experiences always, to expand even deeper into our consciousness and feel the incredible release of any kind of limiting idea. Wow, that's so beautiful. It's like, no, there's oneself. And now every moment, every place that you go to, everywhere, every situation, every event that seems to be occurring has nothing to do with the form, but it has to do with your true self. Your true self shines right through it all the time. Like there's literally no opposite to that. No opposite. And you take this with you wherever you go. So it's like, it seems to be like a black and white picture. You walk through the forest. No, it's like wherever you put your foot, like flowers will start to grow and color will start to evolve in it. And that is the occurrence. Like everyone you look at it simply is completely changed in your experience of yourself into a light that is absolutely taking you home. Now this is the occurrence that is taking place. That is what the healing is, you could say. Now everything is contributing to that, and it's great to have a fresh, beautiful new experience with that on a daily basis, of course. But you can say, like in every situation that you enter into, that is really the opportunity. Bless the place that you enter into. Or open your eyes and see what is actually given to you. Like recognizing that in our spiritual awakening, everything is slowing down actually. Because the depth in which you are able to see now is actually so overwhelming that you don't need that many experiences during the day. But the ones that you get are so deep and so bring everything back home again that it's like, wow, I can't believe it. See, the last thing you could say that you can do is go back after you have you feel this deep sense of connectedness. And the last thing you can do is say, fall back, relapse into your humanhood. I would use the word relapse because it's really like an addiction almost. It's like you don't have to relapse back into common sense or human, what we call normal human behavior. You don't have to relapse into that. And this is so great if you're aware of it and can take time to slow down sufficiently that it becomes an actual experience. And I hope you know that what I'm talking about, but I can give you an example. Like when you enter into a situation with someone else, like for instance in this meeting, you enter into a situation. If you are open to receive what is actually given, you'll be guided home immediately. You recognize in whoever you meet your dearest friend, as if you haven't seen him for 100 years, and are so happy to see him because he's the representation of all your loveliness. Now that is a full-on experience. You recognize this in the ones that you meet. Don't tell me that you don't, because you do. No matter what what is the occurrence, no matter what is the, say, reason for meeting, because that's totally doesn't make any difference. But the opportunity is there to actually fall into a total recognition of who is actually in front of you. Here's your Savior. May I introduce to you your Savior? Well, here's the one that you meet. This is your Savior. Let say cancel all cancel all your appointments for today, but feel this one. Feel this one. Just allow this encounter to be total. Take the rest of the day off, I could say. It's like take the rest of the day off, but let this encounter be total. There's no need for you to fall back, relapse into your humanhood. Now this is really an actual experience I'm having right now, and which is so lovely. Literally, you start to see that there's no exception to the love of God. Every situation you so-called accidentally fall into is a situation for the total healing and recognition of our unity, of our equality, of our connectedness, of the instantaneous communication that you cannot deny any longer that is taking place in you. Like absolutely happening in this instant, immediately, totally, if you allow that to be total. There's the healing, there's the connectedness, there's the overwhelming sense of gratitude for every little thing that appeared to be a little thing, but isn't at all. So this is why it's in fact so easy to become overwhelmed in your transformation, in your awakening process. So easy to be overwhelmed, because in fact every recognition is so total that your time here becomes very short. Like you have hardly any possibility to stay here. You're gone continuously. You're gone out of this limited idea of yourself into the, say, expansion called the love of God. Now, that is the opportunity here. That is the enlightenment of your mind. That is what is occurring to you. If you recognize that there's no exception to it, it becomes one heaven of a celebration. It's really true. So today we're listening to Master Teacher, coming back to the order of these meetings, because everything is contributing to deepen this experience. Like there's no other thing to teach or to share but the recognition of this occurrence that is actually taking place. And a master in that is Master Teacher, absolutely. So he's a master in bringing you back into the moment. It's like, hey, wait a minute, don't miss this. Hey, can you hear this? Here, listen, here. You know, it's like this. And also, we take a look at the daily lesson of today, lesson 96, I think it is. So it's like that. They're all ingredients for your individual experience of the love of God that is taking place in you without any exception, with no reason to deny it, with no reason to use your common sense to reason yourself out of it. No, take the rest of the day off. Let this be total. Listen to this. Can you hear this? Oh my God, you have no idea what is being offered here. I'm serious. You have no idea what's being offered here. If you would, you're out of here. If you actually recognize what is offered here, you're out of here. You're out of the sense of limitation, of reciprocity, of all of this, ignorance. So one of the I'd love to share this with you too. Like it has been a while since I was able to share with you at least 24 hours or something. So it is like I'm full of it now. one of the things that I discovered too is this, which is really lovely to recognize. So here's I thought that the human world was a three-dimensional world, but it actually is a two-dimensional world. It is not even three-dimensional, it's two-dimensional. Now the two dimensions that I'm referring to is this. One of them, if a human being enters, it's almost like a joke, but if a human being enters into a situation, like I was describing just a moment ago, if you enter into a situation and take form serious, what happens with the human being? What does he do? Even if I would offer him the love of God completely, entirely, which everyone is doing, by the way, if you would offer that to a human being, what does a human being do? Here's the first D, delay. Like, well, whatever you're offering me, I'm not ready for that. It will happen some other time. Or the other D is this one. It's like, nah, I have no need of that. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need that. So this is like the two-dimensional world of the human being. It's flat as paper, you could say. Denial and delay. Yes, I love to experience the love of God, but yeah, just not today. Like another time. Yes, of course I want to give myself totally and be completely open to receive what my brother's giving me. I would love him to be my savior. But not today. It's like some other time. Not now. All of this. It's like this is the only thing basically a human being does. In that he's very say well trained. So if you ask directly a question or you would offer your love immediately, you would get a rejection because for no reason. But anyway, that's another thing. It's like delay and defense. That's in fact the embodiment of the human part of the mind that you recognize in yourself when you are not feeling happy. So that's very plainly shared, but I actually love it as the recognition of it. So here we are, opening up to the next page. And the next page is then we're going to listen to Master Teacher sharing with us a very specific section in the talk. And we're going to talk about that later a little bit, but first listening to it.
Is that not okay? No, I would rather condemn other people outside myself and do what I'm doing. Well, who's to stop you, for goodness sake? Huh? You do that. It will what? It will protect you. You can set up a defense here, can't you? Lay up stores and protect yourself from all the terrible things that are going on around. I don't know how you stand it. I don't know how you stand this place. I don't know how you stand a place where there's incest. That's what I couldn't stand. You asked me to justify it. It's not justifiable. But it's not justifiable in any regard. All you did was pick something you would never justify, okay, and look at that purpose of the conflict. Obviously, there are a lot of things that you would look on as justified that many people would not, isn't this so? Now you're set up in jurisprudence where somehow you're going to have to attempt to equate what is justifiable under what circumstances, and you wonder why there's no justice. You should not judge because why? You cannot. And you say to me, well, I can certainly judge limitedly under the circumstances which I presented, but what's that got to do with the truth? Doesn't that frustrate you? You know what my son says? He's a lawyer. Well, that's okay. That's the best we can do. He says, we'll always do the best we can do under the circumstances, and that's what justice is. I said, you don't know the circumstances. He says, we have precedent. I say, all your precedent is judgment, and it's not so. You keep changing your mind about the precedent all the time. Okay? You keep rewriting history according to the dictates of what you want to be true at this time. Okay? The greatest thing that ever happened to the world was the assassination of Kennedy. And you go, well, that couldn't possibly be true. Why not? No, that couldn't be? Well, yeah, that's true. That's a true statement. It's a good thing that happened, huh? And you say, no, it's a bad thing that happened. If that hadn't happened, now see what you're doing? Will the history of this war be rewritten? It'll be written as soon as it's not expedient with the terms that you're in association with what's happening to you now. That's what you're doing all the time. Why do you have to do that? You're judging your present condition on the past frame of reference, and if it doesn't suit you, you'll make it up differently and change it. Okay? You're your own history. Isn't that funny? But it's not stable. Why? Because it's gone. Can you hear this? If you base your reality on what's gone, you're not here either. At no single moment is the body real, isn't that so? It's always past. Let me see you not be past. See? Everything you think of is always just gone. You can't hold on to it. It's just gone. Yet you're here. So what happens? You just keep getting gone, 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 gone. Death. You take your goneness and project it into the future, and you're literally no thing. In the Course, Jesus teaches this as you cancel yourself out. Both parts of you don't know anything. There's a sentence in there that says you cancel. I don't know if you've read that. It's a real lovely, obscure part of the Course. Yeah, you're canceled out. Both the thinker and the object and the subject are not real. Well, what can I do about that? How the hell do I know? Are you satisfied with the condition that you're operating under? You say, well, I think it's going to be all right. How? How's it going to be okay? Well, there's better things coming. There's some lovely Course where Jesus looks at that. He says, why, is there a price for better things? Huh? You say, yeah. Oh yeah, you have to pay the price in order to have better things, don't you? How else will you know they're better? How are you going to know you're happy if you're not unhappy sometimes? Isn't that funny? How are you going to identify it? Where's the problem? You're dealing from lack. You have a fundamental insecurity of limitation. That's why you can never be whole. Anything that needs anything is not real. If cause and effect are not apart. So it bases its reality on need. It cannot be so. It'll just provide for its scarcity. It can never find completion. Okay, because need is the denial of wholeness. I don't know where you're hearing this, but that's fact. You need nothing. You operate on the presumption that necessity is the mother of invention, and indeed it is, but nothing is necessary. Inventiveness is always an attempt to form a limited relationship and deny your own creator. Nice lesson, huh? Do you want to keep the idea of that relationship, of that happening? Okay, this war and this incest he spoke of, and your daughter getting killed at the senior prom by a drunk. Awful. Awful. You say, well, I'm just going to have to cope with it. Why? Answer me, somebody. You don't really realize what I'm offering you. Why do you have to cope with the idea that your daughter got killed at the senior prom? Do you wish that somebody else's daughter would have got killed at the senior prom so that yours had been alive because she hadn't got in the car and I told her not to? You wonder why you're guilty? How could you not be guilty? What do I want you to do? I want you to be totally guilty. The only way that you can come to atonement is by the admission of all of this being in association with you. You can't do it any other way. Isn't that okay? Huh? If reality is reality, the observation of it must be false. Okay, you remember this. I'm not trying to take anything away from you. I'm trying to give you things, but you're determined not to take them. By your perception, you subtract yourself from paradise. That's a fact. It's not open to discussion. How could you have a question? The question is that God is real and your association with Him is not. He doesn't need your identification to be what He is. Do you see? Your demands for justification in your own perceptual reality are totally meaningless. They mean nothing. There is no such thing as time. Okay? If you think there is, why not take the moment that there is to see that there's not? How many associations in your definition are ready to hear this message? How the hell do I know? The requirement is that you do, so you stop attacking the reality. Have you been attacking the reality? Certainly. You don't like to read this in the Course. What do you do when you read in the Courses? You're attacking God because you're afraid of Him. Isn't that funny? Yet your mind is whole, isn't it? What do you do when you're inside yourself? Okay, I used to do this all the time. What do you do? Just talk to yourself about this? How do you find a solution to it? I'm curious. This consciousness is finding a solution. He's going to hold on to it somewhere. But there's really no justification for it finally, is there? What would it be? Why would there be death and sickness? Help me. Why? Is it necessary in order to what? I can't get what it is you're trying to do. Do you want to prove that death is real to me? How do you obliviate yourself? You're in an impossible situation. And you say, well, I'd rather have this than the alternative. This is a lovely Course now. Why? Well, why would the alternative be bad? You say, well, at least I have this. You can't take this away from me. This is actually what you do, isn't it? You hold on, and Jesus says in the Course, you hold on to this little piece rather than just saying I'm everything. Because everything is a threat to you. That's the way it is. How can you get out of it? That's an impossible dilemma. You'd rather have this than nothing because you think God is nothing, right? So you die to prove you're right, but you can't die. What's the solution? You have to use up all your avenues of attempt to escape God. You won't do it any other way. He can sit there forever and keep demanding recognition for what He is, and it's not real. I'm not quarreling with him, I'm just telling you it's not real. It has nothing to do with good or bad. It has nothing to do with incest and murder and rape. Listen, it has nothing to do with that. You already are killing the things you love. What difference does it make how you kill them if you kill them? Is this the way Jesus says you identify murder with love? Yeah. Does this mean that what isn't love is murder? Yeah. Because murder is death. Death is self-murder. If you kill your brother, you're what? Killing yourself, aren't you? Killing the part about you that you don't like, you try to save your part of stuff you do, and you die anyway. Okay? The reason that I make this an imperative is it's exactly what you don't want to look at. Is this lovely consciousness provided for you to take a look at this? Sure. Why? Because this is the same thing you're thinking in your own mind. Is that different than what your mind thinks? Of course not. You're a human being. And you've set up a value system within you. And when I tell you you're under no laws but God's, you positively reject it. It's turning into a tough talk, but I don't care. Finally, you're going to have to look at you're causing your own dilemma. If you won't do that, if you're going to keep blaming something outside the self for your problem, there's no sense in coming to me. You're a liar, and you've been a liar from the beginning, but you're not real. You do this but to yourself. Now, if you can look at it as just a little occurrence, which it is, just a little happening in a limited framework, you won't have any problem with this. I'm going to try this with you. No one knows about this but you. No one knows about this but you. This is just your own turning within yourself. Okay? You're in a dream. This never happened. That ought to eliminate the questions about the incest. If it doesn't, don't come to me. See, I'm giving you now the fact of the matter. If you're determined that this is so, there's no sense in coming to me. There's no sense in doing the Course in Miracles. That'd be senseless. The whole Course, all I'm giving you is what Jesus said, out of body. He tells you that you're not a body, that you've constructed this in your own mind, and that you're what? You're the dreamer of the dream. Why isn't that okay? I always knew I was dreaming here. Somewhere within me, I always knew that this was a dream. Okay? Is this a dream now going on? Huh? Well, what are we going to do in our dream then? Should we talk about grievances and all the terrible things that have happened in our dream? You tell me that things that happened to you, and I'll tell you the things that happened to me. But we're really not communicating. Not really. Okay, evil cannot be shared, Jesus would say. Separation really can't be shared because it's based on not knowing. You see? We can only approximate it and utilize symbols to represent it. Like I'm doing now. Do you see what I'm doing? Oh. Would it be better if I didn't speak at all? I don't know. I have to use this devious method because you have constructed this devious method not to know the truth. That's a nice sentence in the Course. Remember where it says that? You speak in these weird tongues in order to keep yourself from seeing the truth. Then you share that limitation as long as you don't have to do a confrontation with your own reality. Then you share the guilt of the terrible things that you and I did together. But it's not real. Okay? Am I telling you what you don't want to hear? Of course. This is the only thing you've never wanted to hear, that you're perfect. Why? If you're perfect, what would be the sense in this? So, you told me to come here in this time and tell you that you're perfect. And to tell you that you're waiting for yourself later on. Is that true? It would have to be true. Otherwise, what is it you're looking for? See, it would be impossible for you to be searching for heaven without having found it. Wouldn't that be true? Well, I'm here to remind you that you found it. And you'll say to me, well, how did I get back here where I don't remember finding it?
All right, so here we continue with looking at part of the talk of Master Teacher. The better things are coming, is what I call it, with a question mark. Better things are coming? That's interesting. So it's great to listen to this talk, because the opportunity to hear something new is quite obvious here. And it's not anything else than what I just shared with you before. It's like the human way of response is always defense or delay, like not now. No, I'd rather keep what I have, because at least I know what I have. And yeah, I'm not so sure about the alternative, because what I can think of is always, not completely a replacement for it. Like, I'm so used to my own limitation. How could something else be better? And more like these limiting beliefs. But here we go. I am asking you to be who you really are, but you don't want to be. You would rather make up all sorts of names for stuff to keep yourself separate from your own identity. But you cannot not be the living Son of God, because you are God creating. Is that not okay? No, I would rather condemn other people outside of me and do what I'm doing. Well, who's to stop you, for goodness sake? You do that. It will protect you. You can set up a defense here, can't you? Lay up stores. Protect yourself from all the terrible things that are going on around you. I don't know how you can stand it. You ask me to justify it, but it's not justifiable. But it's not justifiable in any regard. All you did was pick up something you would never justify and look at that purpose of the conflict. Obviously, there are not a lot of things you would look upon as justified that many people would. Isn't it so? Now, you're set up in jurisprudence where somehow you're going to have to attempt to equate what is justifiable under what circumstances, and you wonder why there is no justice. You should not judge, because why? You cannot judge. And you say to me, well, I can certainly judge limitedly under the circumstances which are presented to me. But what's that got to do with truth? Doesn't that frustrate you? At no single moment is the body real, isn't that so? It is always past. Let me see you not be past. Everything you think is always just gone. You can't hold on to it. It's just gone. Yet you're here. So what happens? You keep getting gone, 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 gone. Death. You take your goneness and project it into the future, and you're literally nothing. In the Course, Jesus teaches this as you cancel out yourself. Both parts of you don't know anything. There's a sentence in there, and it's a lovely obscure part of the Course that says you're cancelled out. Both the thinker, the object, and the subject are not real. Well, what can I do about it? How the hell do I know? Are you satisfied with the condition that you're operating under? Well, you say, well, I think it's going to be all right. How? How is it going to be okay? Well, there's better things coming. So you saw this in the talk with Master Teacher, like this was shared, and the interesting part is then you say like there's better things coming, and they come at a certain price, but I'm willing to pay that. Then it will be better. Like then there's something given that is actually better. I can wait for that. I don't have to. Now I'm working my way to it. It will be better. You know, like this. See, what do? You project your limitation into the future. Like, I really tell you not anything you don't know. You project it into the future. And you expect a better future based on your past reference, which is just not going to work. So that's an hopeless condition, you could say, that perpetuates and keeps hoping up, for the better. Like, and it's working its way up a little, level up, falls down again and starts all over again. It is almost like you try to push something, say, on the ramp of a mountain, and by the time that you're almost up, it falls back to the bottom again, and you can start all over again. Well, this is really what makes a lot of people depressed in the human condition. Like, you just started something, you build it up, we gave it everything, and now you fall back into the beginning, or even worse than that. And you see this happening all the time, whether that's, say, speeded up by a tornado running through your garden, or whether that's, say, caused by an apparent disease or anything like this. Like, everything is into place, everything looked so good, and then you get this one call and you can start all over. Or you have this one occurrence that completely shakes you up, and you can start all over again. You recognize this. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. It is just as how I started this, say, this moment together, with an idea of the totality that's being presented in every moment. Like the totality that is offered to you in every situation, literally without an opposite. There is no opposite, in fact, but your denial of the moment, say, the totality of what is being presented in every situation is the recognition of your oneness with your brother, the equality that you can experience, the recognition of a common source. And this is really interesting, because it solves the whole quest, the whole human quest all the time. It's like, well, in this moment it is being presented. It is right here. You don't have to go anywhere for it. No, it is happening right now. No, this is it. No, you don't have to look for something else. No, there's no comparison to yesterday. This is the moment. This is the perfect moment, complete and whole, and all of this. And you have an opportunity to experience it, to open up so deeply for it, to let it be total, to let this be all that there is. Not hoping for better things to come, not hoping for, say, dissolving past issues or something. I don't know. It's like, no, none of that. No, the fulfillment is right here. The absolute total gratitude for this instant that is given to you by your source, for your total love, for your total acceptance of this, is all that is happening. And you can wait for other moments to come. You can deny this moment and say, like, well, I don't think it looks like that. Sorry, I don't think you're right. So it's like, okay, that's fine. That's fine if you think that. I'm not pushing you into this. No, but there will not be a better moment. So it is always coming back to this. If you don't let this moment be whole and perfect, which moment are you going to let that occur? And what do you think is so necessary to do? What do you think is more important than to let this moment be whole? Now, of course, you don't think like that as a human being, but see, here's the instruction. Like, you know about an alternative. You know about a spiritual, say, self, you could say. You know about the attraction to that. That's why you're here. That's why you come to these meetings, or that's why you actually listen to this. But you have no idea what is being offered. You hear Master Teacher say that too. It's like you have no idea what's being offered, because that that is a perfect moment. It only has to be this one moment that has to be perfect. You allow yourself to experience that completely. That is the only requirement. From there on, you have the experience of a total incredible moment. So yeah, that's really interesting how that goes. So I love to say, to see that, to undergo that, to stay with that, to let that be, say that. Yeah, that's pretty vague if I say it like this, huh? So it's like, yeah, with words, does it work with words? I don't know. I don't know either. Like, I don't know. It is, you touch a part. But in fact, say all the all the experiences that you go through in the denial of this are helping you to come to this. So in that sense, I'm not concerned about it at all. It will bring you to this, because everything is pointing to this moment. You know what I'm saying? It's like you practice this by sitting still, meditating. Like, why do you do that? To have a better future? No, to have this moment be complete. Now I'm going to relax into that. I love to meditate. It's so great. Yeah, wonderful. So let it be total. Let this moment then that you meditate be total. Not to achieve something in the future. No, to let this moment be total. See, that's why this, say, Course in Miracles, in that sense, if you really do it, is a tough discipline, because it is no discipline. You only have to let this moment be perfect. You only have to give up your ideas about yourself or your future or your world or your anything that you made up as a liar from the beginning of your separation. All of that. You only have to give that up for just a moment to let this moment be perfect. All right, so let's see what is being shared in lesson 96 of today, because I love to bring in one idea, and that's this is like the storehouse of all the gifts that are given you. Like, whether you're aware of it or not, you're actually laying up stores of the absolute gifts that are given. Like, you cannot lose them, in other words. They are saved for you, put away, say, carefully. You will never lose them. So everything that's given you, in every whole moment that is given you, is being stored for you. Now, if you start to find that door, and if you start to knock on it and let it be opened, of course it's going to be overwhelming, because you literally have stored it. You have let it be stored for you. And so the storehouse is an interesting part, and it's in this lesson too. I'll bring it up. See, it's a storehouse of presence. It's not a storehouse of the future or anything. So let me see if I can find it. Salvation comes from my oneself. That's the lesson. So where's my storehouse? Let me see. Oh yeah. Well, let's read the last 3 paragraphs, because we're talking here about. Here. Now let's start with L9. Wait patiently and let him speak to you about yourself. You know, this is what we say, like, okay, listen to the still small voice. Wait patiently and let him speak to you about yourself. And what your mind can do, restored to it and free to serve its will, by saying this: salvation comes from my one self. Its thoughts are mine to use. Then seek its thoughts. Now we continue on the next page. Then seek its thoughts and claim them as your own. These are your own real thoughts, which you have denied. Let your mind go and let your mind go wandering into a world of dreams to find illusions in their place. So we're entering into the alternative with its thoughts. Like its thoughts have a totally different quality than the thoughts that you are thinking in your limitation. Because these thoughts are, say, absolute representation of your perfection. Here are your thoughts, see, and they make you happy. They confirm your connectedness to your brother. They confirm that this moment is total and perfect, and it confirms that you are totally innocent, that you are the joy and happiness, all the joy and happiness in this universe. You are your thoughts, the only ones you have. Salvation is among them. Find it there. Let this moment be complete. You know, it's like if you succeed, the thoughts that come to you will tell you you are saved. Like you're literally looking for that moment of fulfillment where that actually happens. Oh my God, I'm saved. Oh, there is a God. Oh my God, there is a God. It is happening right now. I can't believe it. And that your mind has found the function that it sought to lose. Yourself will welcome it and recognize it completely and give it peace. Restored in strength, it will again flow out from spirit to the spirit in all things, created by the spirit as itself. And that's a lovely sentence. Restored in strength, like it's a different quality, it's restored in strength, it will again flow out from spirit to the spirit in all things, created by the spirit itself. Like it has a total recognition of itself, and it's glad by what it sees. It sees. It's literally like Jesus, like God on his seventh day of creation. He saw it was good. It is like this. It's like you see that it's good. Restored in strength, it will again flow out from spirit to the spirit in all things, created by spirit itself, as itself. Your mind will bless all things. It will literally automatically do that. So it's not that you have thoughts about it. No, you're actually starting to bless everything because you don't know what to do with your gratitude. You don't know what to do with what you're feeling. You're home in heaven, literally. So you start to bless all things. Confusion done. You are restored. Like it's clear as day. It is so clear. There's not an inch of doubt. There's not any confusion. It is bright and clear. For you have found yourself. Yourself knows that you cannot fail today. Perhaps your mind remains uncertain yet a little while. That's all right. Be not dismayed by this. The joy yourself experiences, it will save for you, and it will yet be yours in full awareness. Every time you spend 5 minutes of the hour seeking him who joins your mind and self, you offer him another treasure to be kept for you. Each time today, when you tell your frantic mind, distracted by all things of the world, distracted by all kinds of ideas of a better future, or all kinds of regrets about the past, or who knows what, each time you tell your frantic mind salvation comes from your one self, you lay another treasure in your growing store. And all of it is given everyone who asks for it and will accept the gift. Think then how much is given unto you to give this day, that it be given you. How much, think then, how much is given unto you to give this day, that it be given you. So it's like the store, you can say the store that we're talking about is like, it's an incredible store. There's so much like gathered in there, but everything that's in there is is being shared with everyone. It's your store. It's all yours. And at the same time, it's all given to everyone at the same time. By you receiving one gift, it is given to everyone equally. By you accepting the freedom that is given you, you set everyone free. By you recognizing your innocence, nobody can judge any longer. You literally, it's like, declare the world as innocent. Anyone in the world as innocent. So this is what is occurring then in the recognition of that. And that becomes your experience. Like, okay, you're still a little bit doubtful about it. That's all right. It will change, because this is an overwhelming confirmation of your truth. So it's like eyes accustomed to darkness, with the first little blink of light, will be like blinded by it, by the light. So that's okay. You know, this is really what is happening. You get adjusted to the light, suddenly you start to see it everywhere. And you enjoy what you see. You love what you see. You cannot wait to give it away anywhere. Taking time to actually feel the depth of it and let it completely bring you back home. In that, you bring your brother home. Now, this is your healing consciousness, you could say. This is the fulfillment of you being in this world, extending your light into every dark corner of your mind, and recognizing that this blazing light will not, say, give any chance for anything else but the recognition of itself. And it's great to have fresh experiences of that. So these are being offered on a moment-by-moment basis. There's no need to delay, or there's no need to defend. Absolutely not. But if that makes you feel safe for just a moment, still holding on a little bit to your rudimentary human idea about yourself, which is dissolving as we speak, more and more and more, that's all right. Jesus says that's okay. So just hang in there. Just stay with it. It's perfectly all right. No worries. Now this is the miracle mind. This is, can you hear this? Like, if you can hear this, you're literally taken out of this. You're literally being brought home. That's the continual offering in every meeting that we have, in everything that's being offered. It is not about the form. It is not about how it looks. It is not about anything else than the invitation to let this moment be perfect. So thank you so much for joining with me today in this incredible reunion, which I'm so happy to share with you. Having a fresh experience of this memory with you, recognizing that you are so dear to me, I cannot even share that. It's like, I love you so much. I'm so incredibly grateful for sharing our common source and recognizing that as that what is. So yeah, have an incredible day. Have a lovely day, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.